This is the hottest and newest product straight from Korea. It was sold out and ranked #1 from Olive Young, which is the equivalent of the Sephora in Korea. And I know VT is super popular, not just in Korea, but also Japan, so obviously I had to try it. So I'm excited to partner with them for this video. They didn't give me any talking points. They just sent me the products and was like, do what you will with it. So I've documented using all 3 intensity levels for over 1 month. So by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how it works, what skin concerns it's best at improving and increase product absorption, how to incorporate it into your skincare routine, and most importantly, if the results match the hype, but also which intensity level reigns supreme. All right, let's first talk about what are these Cica Riddles. These are like tiny microscopic sponges in the shape of a little toothpick or microscopic needles. Now these Riddles are then immersed in the VT Cica complex, and as we know, Centella is really good for helping soothe redness, inflammation, irritation, and anything of a compromised skin barrier. So it's actually a very soothing formula. When this is applied to the skin, these Riddles essentially create microchannels on our skin so that the skincare and the ingredients can travel deeper and penetrate into the skin, which essentially means it's amplifying all the skincare that we're using, and the absorption of these products are maximized. So I took these pictures here, which is my skin on the very first day. There was a lot of congestion on my chin and jaw. My nose, both sides, were a little bit red and irritated, and I had a bunch of scarring on the side of my cheeks. So that's when I actually started testing the 100. Starting day 1 with the 100 Riddle shots. And it says on the box that you use it at the first step of your routine. So it's like this gel serum lotion kind of consistency. It contains 95,000 of these Cica Riddles, and it's formulated to be used every night. It kind of feels like when you use a really strong glycolic acid. It's definitely not painful. It's like tingly. Out of 10, probably 1.5 to 2. It's just like tiny little bursts. And then went in with my serum because you can go in now with the rest of your products in the routine. Like when you spread other products on there, you can still feel it. Moisturizer. And these are just the normal products in my routine, so I know it's nothing crazy and there's no other actives because I just want to test this Riddle shot and see what it can do, right? So, oh my god, I still feel it. Whoa. This one got curious, so he shall be trying it as well.
Should I be scared?
I am nothing but trust.
It's already still.
Why are you so rough? You
What is
really
this?
need to softly work it in.
This is like the cream version of that electricity thing on your face.
Ha! Beauty is pain? Only slightly. It's not painful. And then you just put your other stuff on.
Not bad.
So the crazy thing is I woke up the next morning and my skin looked like this. It was like even. Like my skin feels so nice. The redness had gone down. You can see that all the inflammation around the breakouts had significantly decreased. So I kept using it every night, but alongside that, I was also starting to eat pretty badly because it was that week leading up to my period. And so I actually ended up developing a huge pimple on my chin. So I realized that this formula is really good at evening the texture, but it didn't control breakouts from occurring. So I actually used this guy for 2 weeks, so 14 days. Towards the end of the second week, that pimple had burst. It was like rearing its ugly head. It all came out. And then I was left with a really deep kind of hyperpigmentation. So on the last and final day, I actually had to film something and I put on, just a little bit of cushion foundation. And I was like, oh my god, my skin looks so good. So what other people were sharing on the forums and reviews, the general consensus is that it visibly helped the skin feel softer and smoother the morning after, which I completely 1000% agree with. It was shocking. People love the light gel texture. Some people were hesitant at first and they didn't know if it was doing anything or working, but then after using it for about 1 to 2 weeks, they were convinced.
One thing to also talk about is my blackheads. I don't have huge blackheads, but I do have those like sebaceous filaments that look a little bit gray. So I do still see them here, but they're like not hard, they've softened, and then it's quite refined around here. If your skin is more resilient and you're used to kind of like using actives, I feel like you might benefit from a higher one, which we will see. But if you have super sensitive skin, this might be for you.
Personally, I really love the gel lightweight texture. It's not oily, but it keeps your skin nourished, but it doesn't feel like a moisturizer, and it was just kind of that perfect texture for me. So that, like everyone else, made me very excited to try the 300 because I'm like, okay, what are the effects from 100 to 300? So let's move on. This guy actually contains 237,500 of those Riedel shots. It's about 2 to 3 times more of those Riedels than the 100 formula. So I was like, oh my gosh, how much is this going to increase that tingling sensation? I don't know.
Kind of feels the same as the 100, to be honest. And I've actually gotten used to that tingling feeling where I almost look forward to it now. So it's actually not all that much different in terms of like the feeling that it gives, except a little bit more. Let's push it in a bit. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, there it is. Okay, maybe like 3.5, 4. I can feel it now. Still doesn't hurt, it's just like pricks.
Something also to mention is that the formula doesn't just contain the Cica complex, it's also got niacinamide as well as adenosine and amino acids, which are something that's naturally occurring on our skin. It's a protein that helps to build our skin barrier. So overall, it's helping to strengthen the skin barrier as well as help ingredients penetrate deeper into the skin.
Every time you put any sort of serum on afterwards or any moisturizer liquid, the feeling activates again, but it's like slightly less. Ooh, I feel it on my neck.
You can see in the B-roll in my skin, like when I apply it, it doesn't change color. I also have sensitive skin, except for when I applied it on my neck. That was the only time I was like, oh, wow.
So it's been about 30 minutes and I just realized my neck has gotten like red, like it started getting kind of itchy. But it's not painful or anything, but then I started scratching it. I told you my neck was sensitive. But my face is fine. Yes, just something I thought I would report. And then the only difference with this one is that we use it 3 times a week versus every day.
This week I used this. I didn't actually wear any makeup at all. I was high-key feeling my skin, and I like have some videos of here where I'm just sitting at my table and I'm like, oh my god, my skin looks healthy, it looks radiant because it's so even. And even though there's a few like hyperpigmentation that's starting to resurface itself, it's not drying, it's like amazing. So then I was curious to then pair it with a retinol in that week. I have this retinol gel moisturizer that I'm using, and I used it on the days that I didn't use the 300. So it was still only used at nighttime, but then it was kind of like a skin cycling situation where I'd use the Riedel, then the next day I would use my retinol, and then use whatever I wanted in the next day, and then go back to the Riedel. Like, I'm speechless. It was just so nice.
Just wanted to show you how the skin looks. I feel like it's evened out, like that hyperpigmentation, those 3 dots that were there are like faded. I also realized the sebaceous filaments that are usually kind of like black is actually way less. And also something to note, my skin hasn't felt dehydrated, it hasn't felt like dry. It's just supple and soft. So I'm gonna give this another 2-3 days and then start on the 700.
300, that's what you got, then what about 7?
Dun, da, da, da. So this has 570,000 of those Riedel shots. So it's about double the intensity and the amount of those microscopic Riedels. This guy is like your weekly pick-me-up where it's designed to be used once a week. And we're gonna go in with 700. Ooh, okay. Straight off the bat, this has a much creamier consistency. It has the consistency of a lotion versus the 100 and 300 had the consistency of a gel serum. Ooh. The 100 and 300 was just like a soft little prick. This is like a more condensed prick. Like you can feel it's much more densely populated on the skin. This one definitely feels a little bit more nourishing, more like a actual moisturizer. And then the sensation of those Cica Riedels lasts longer than the 100 and 300s. Oh, that's so satisfying. I would definitely say in terms of like the sensation, you do probably want to try the lower concentrations before jumping all into the 700, but that's not always the case because I actually gave the 700 to one of my team members and she was shocked. Her skin is already gorgeous, but there's like a tiny bit of texture. You can see the pores are a little bit raised and then boom, look at that radiance. And you can see actually on her cheeks there is a little bit of flushing. So here are her notes. The tingling, she ranked it a 3 out of 10. There's a slight red effect for her after rubbing it into the skin. And she actually said that if you do test it on your hand, it feels stronger on the hand versus the skin. We all went into trying this product with no expectation, but after using it across the board, I think amazing. I just feel like the day after effects are so visibly clear and smooth, and I don't wake up with a pool of oil. It actually is just perfectly kind of like hydrating and nourishing enough. To wrap this all up, I want to rank and share with you guys what I think all these 3 formulas are best at and which ones work better for what concern. Out of the 5 things that it listed that it could do, I think the formula for me was best at refining the texture and the tone. That was the most obvious effects of using the 100, 300, and 700. It was visibly able to refine the texture of my skin so much. Then the second thing I would say is actually it's really good at minimizing pores. My pores were not filled with sebum and sebaceous filaments as much as it would have been when, you know, on a normal month. Then I would say it helps with brightening hyperpigmentation next as the third thing it's able to do. The 100 wasn't able to do that as quickly. It was very subtle and I had to use it for 2 weeks. But by the end of the 2 weeks, I was very satisfied with what it was able to reduce on my cheek. I actually saw the most results with the 300 in conjunction with using it with a few acids like BHA or the retinol. So I think that played the best for me. The 700 I think was nice because it was instant effects for the first 1 to 2 days. I just don't know if I'll always gravitate towards using that intense feeling, but it is only once a week. Then for the last 2, it definitely helps with wound healing. So even though the hyperpigmentation on that huge pimple had not gone away, it definitely experienced 0 dryness throughout that whole week, which is insane because normally my pimples do have that dry ring of skin around it, but this time it didn't and it continued to fade. So wound healing was definitely something that it helped with. And then the last thing I would say it doesn't necessarily really attack is actually helping acne. So those are just my thoughts on using all 3 of the intensity levels. My favorite is the 300. My teammates loves the 700 because of those instant effects. But if you're looking for something that's pushing your skin a little every day for that refinement, then I think the 100, definitely start there low and slow. Now guys, if that wasn't enough for you and you're like, okay, yeah, I see some brightening effects, but I want more. They actually have a vitamin C version of
the Riedel. So this is the Riedel Shot Vitalite Toning Essence, which comes out like this. So they've separated the powder and the ampule, and what you're supposed to do is mix them together, which activates a fresh vitamin C essence. And this is also formulated with vitamin E as well as ferulic acid for even more brightening and evening effects with the Riedel.
So it's a really light essence formula. It's actually beautiful. It reminds me of a lightweight emulsion. So I am also using this as the first step after cleansing. And with this one, you can use it during the day. Just make sure obviously that you wear a sunscreen. This one does not feel like anything at all. So in terms of the Riedels themselves, you don't even feel that tingling. It almost just feels like a normal vitamin C serum. So you can see on the bottle, this is the lowest concentration. This is VC 1000. Then it also has a VC 1500, and the top one is the 2000. It's actually recommended that the 1000 is for people who are beginners or introducing their skin to vitamin C. Then the 1500 are for people who already know that their skin enjoys vitamin C. And then the 2000 is for more of those advanced users who really want to tackle melasma and like stubborn age spots or sun damage. So this is going to last you 2 weeks using every day. So it's perfect to keep us all consistently using it. Otherwise, vitamin C just won't have the effects that it's designed to be. Otherwise, good to go.
And here are some things also to keep in mind. Like with most things, make sure you kind of test it out. It's best to start at lower intensities and build yourself up to higher intensities, but that's not always the case. It's more about knowing what your skin can enjoy. Another thing is it's suitable for all skin types, but once again, you can patch test just to make sure. In this case, the redness and tingling is supposed to happen, and it really is an indication that the product is working and doing its thing, which I love. Then when you're using this, avoid using skincare devices, because don't know if you guys know which one I'm talking about, but it almost mimics the skincare devices that help your skincare penetrate. On top of that, if you have any like dermatological facial services done, then avoid using these Riedels for about 2 weeks in between. So just keep it simple, and when you do use it, just let it do its thing. So yeah, oh my gosh, so excited that I actually made this video. It was an experience. So if you guys were on the fence about anything, leave your questions below if I didn't get around to answering those in this video, and give it a like if you're interested in trying it out. Subscribe if you like our skincare content, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.